Hello students, in this video I will talk about the overview of amino acid metabolism. So we can store fats as triacylglycerol. We can store carbohydrates as glycogen. But we cannot store amino acids or proteins. Amino acids or proteins we cannot store. So there is no storage form of amino acids or proteins. So amino acids and proteins undergo continuous anabolism and catabolism, that is continuous metabolism. First, I will tell you about the catabolism of amino acid. So catabolism of amino acid has two phases. First phase consists of removal of alpha amino groups by transamination coupled with oxidative deamination. It forms ammonia, and ammonia forms urea in the urea cycle, and it is excreted. In the second phase, after removal of the alpha amino groups, what is left is the carbon skeleton of amino acid, carbon skeleton, which are known as keto acids. These keto acids become or are converted into common intermediates of metabolic pathways like glycolysis, TCA cycle, etc. So keto acids are oxaloacetate, pyruvate, alpha ketoglutarate. It also forms fumarate. Amino acids also form fumarate, succinine coenzyme A, acetyl coenzyme A, and acetoacetate. These are the 7 metabolites which this carbon skeleton forms. So all these metabolites become intermediates of metabolic pathways like glycolysis and TCA cycle. So when it enters the gluconeogenesis pathway, it forms glucose, mainly by the glucosenic amino acids. It can form fatty acids if it forms acetyl coenzyme A. Then it can form ketone bodies by ketogenic amino acids, and it can be completely oxidized to carbon dioxide and water in the TCA cycle. Now this amino acid metabolism is a part of bigger nitrogen metabolism, and it is responsible for maintaining the nitrogen balance in the body along with other nitrogen containing compounds. So this amino acid metabolism relative to the nitrogen metabolism involves two important concepts. One is this nitrogen metabolism, it involves two important concepts. One is to maintain the amino acid pool and protein turnover. So amino acid pool is around 90 to 100 gram, and it remains constant. So which contributes to the amino acid pool are from 3 sources. Number 1 is diet, when we take the essential amino acids. Then when we synthesize the non-essential amino acids by synthetic pathways. Then by degradation of the body proteins. Now this amino acid pool is depleted by again 3 ways. This amino acid can form body proteins by translation, protein synthesis. Then it can form some specialized products like porphyrins, heme synthesis, then creatine, then neurotransmitters, like gamma amino butyric acid or GABA, then purines, pyrimidines, or other nitrogen containing compounds. Then it also forms glucose by glucosenic amino acids, ketone bodies by ketogenic amino acids. It can form fatty acids. When it forms acetyl coenzyme, it can form steroids, or it can be completely oxidized into carbon dioxide and water. So the rate of synthesis of amino acid and the rate of breakdown of amino acids are same. So the amino acid pool remains constant. Now what is protein turnover? In healthy adults, the total amount of protein in the body remains constant because the rate of protein synthesis is equal to the rate of protein degradation. Okay, so this is known as protein turnover. We know that protein synthesis occurs by translation. Now how this protein degradation occurs? It occurs by 2 ways. One is energy dependent, that is, it needs ATP. Energy dependent ubiquitin proteasome pathway, and another by non-energy dependent lysosomal enzymes, lysosomal degradation. Okay, so what is this ubiquitin proteasome pathway? Now some proteins after synthesis are misfolded, some are damaged, and some we don't need those proteins, unneeded proteins. So first, these unwanted proteins are linked with a small globular protein known as ubiquitin. This target protein and the ubiquitin are linked by alpha carboxyl glycine of the ubiquitin and epsilon amino group of the lysine residue of the target protein. So this is the target protein that we want to degrade, and this is ubiquitin. Now this ubiquitin will bind with this target protein one after another and forms a polyubiquitin chain. Like this. Okay, and this process needs energy in the form of ATP, which is hydrolyzed into AMP and inorganic pyrophosphate, so which is equivalent to the breakdown of 2 molecules of ATP. Now this ubiquitin tagged protein is recognized by a large barrel shaped macromolecular proteolytic complex called proteasome. Proteasome. So this is proteasome. With which the target protein along with the polyubiquitin chain binds. Inside the proteasome, the target protein is broken down into peptide fragments. Peptide fragments. And the ubiquitin comes out, which is again recycled. And these peptide fragments are broken down by non-specific proteases to form the constituent amino acids which joins the amino acid pool. Now this is the ubiquitin proteasome pathway. Now dietary proteins are degraded by the process of digestion by digestive enzymes, and it was also already discussed in the theory classes. So in the next videos I will discuss about individual amino acid metabolism, synthesis of non-essential fatty amino acids, and synthesis of the specialized products. Okay, thank you.